Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and as always, I'm excited to have you here with us today. Whether you're listening while traveling, studying, working, or simply relaxing at home, thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with us. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that can completely change the way you learn English and help you become a more confident speaker. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you study English every day, but somehow you still forget words, struggle to speak, or find it difficult to express your thoughts clearly? If that sounds familiar, then today's episode is exactly for you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Many English learners believe that success comes from studying more grammar rules or memorizing thousands of vocabulary words. While those things are important, there is something even more powerful that many learners overlook. The truth is that learning English successfully is not just about what you study, it's about how you train your brain. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you use English in the right way, the stronger and faster your English skills become.
That's absolutely right, Julia. In today's episode, we're going to explore how you can rewire your brain for English success. We'll share simple techniques that can help you think in English, remember vocabulary more easily, and build confidence when speaking. So, if you're ready to train your brain for success and take your English to the next level, stay with us, because this episode is going to be both practical and inspiring.
Let's get started and discover how small daily habits can create big changes in your English journey.
Before we talk about solutions, let's first understand the problem. Millions of people around the world spend months or even years studying English. They learn grammar rules, memorize vocabulary lists, watch videos, and complete exercises. Yet many of them still feel nervous when it's time to speak. They know a lot of English, but they cannot use it naturally in real conversations. Have you ever experienced this? Maybe you understand English when you read or listen, but when someone asks you a simple question in English, your mind suddenly goes blank. This is one of the most common frustrations English learners face.
That's a great point, Jason. Many learners think they are failing because they are not smart enough or because they have a bad memory, but in most cases, that's not the real problem. The real issue is that their brain has not been trained to use English as a communication tool. Instead of using English naturally, they constantly translate every word from their native language into English. This process takes time and makes speaking feel slow, difficult, and stressful. As a result, learners lose confidence and begin to believe that fluency is impossible for them.
Exactly, Julia. Another common problem is inconsistency. Many people study English for a few days with a lot of motivation, then stop practicing for a week or two. When they come back, they feel like they have forgotten everything. This creates a cycle of frustration. The brain learns through repetition and regular practice, not through occasional effort. If you only use English once in a while, your brain will not treat it as an important skill.
And here's something every listener should remember. Your brain learns from habits. If your daily habit is avoiding English, your brain becomes comfortable avoiding it. But if your daily habit is listening, thinking, reading, and speaking in English, your brain gradually adapts and becomes stronger. The good news is that this can change. No matter where you are in your English journey today, you can train your brain to become more comfortable and confident with English.
Now that we understand why many learners struggle with English, let's talk about something very interesting. Rewiring your brain. Julia, when people hear the phrase rewire your brain, it sounds complicated and even a little scientific. So, what does it actually mean, and how does it relate to learning English?
That's a great question, Jason. In simple terms, rewiring your brain means creating new habits and strengthening new connections inside your mind through repeated practice. Our brains are constantly learning and adapting. Every time you listen to English, read English, think in English, or speak English, your brain builds and strengthens pathways that make the language easier to understand and use. At first, these pathways are weak, which is why English may feel difficult or unnatural, but the more you practice, the stronger those pathways become.
So, in a way, learning English is similar to learning any other skill, right? The more often you do it, the easier it becomes because your brain starts recognizing patterns and responding more quickly.
Exactly. Think about riding a bicycle or learning how to drive. In the beginning, everything feels confusing and requires a lot of effort. But after enough practice, those actions become automatic. English works the same way. When you consistently expose yourself to the language and actively use it every day, your brain gradually adapts. Over time, understanding and speaking English becomes faster, easier, and much more natural.
That's an encouraging message for every learner listening today. You don't need a special talent to succeed in English. You simply need to train your brain consistently. And little by little, those small efforts can lead to remarkable progress. Now let's move on to the first step for rewiring your brain for English success. Surround your brain with English every single day. Many learners only interact with English when they are studying from a textbook or attending a class. As soon as the lesson ends, English disappears from their daily life. Then they wonder why they struggle to remember words or understand conversations. The truth is that your brain learns best when it is regularly exposed to a language. The more English you see and hear throughout the day, the more familiar and natural it becomes.
That's absolutely right, Jason. Think about how children learn their first language. They don't study grammar books for hours every day. Instead, they hear the language constantly. Their brains are surrounded by words, sounds, and conversations from morning until night. As English learners, we can create a similar environment for ourselves. You can listen to English podcasts while walking, watch short English videos during your free time, read simple articles, follow English-speaking creators, or even change your phone's language settings to English. These small actions send a powerful message to your brain that English is an important part of your daily life.
And the best part is that you don't need to spend hours doing this. Even 10 or 15 minutes of daily exposure can make a difference when done consistently. What matters most is making English a regular part of your routine rather than something you only practice occasionally.
Exactly. Remember, every time you listen to English, your brain is learning, even if you don't understand every word. Consistent exposure helps your brain recognize patterns, improve listening skills, and become more comfortable with the language. So, if you want to rewire your brain for English success, start by giving your brain more English every day.
Now let's talk about the second step. Start thinking in English. This is one of the most powerful habits you can develop as an English learner. Many people make the mistake of thinking in their native language first and then translating their thoughts into English. While this may seem normal, it often slows down communication and makes speaking feel difficult. By the time they finish translating, They may lose confidence or forget what they wanted to say.
That's exactly right, Jason. If you want to speak English more naturally, you need to train your brain to think directly in English. Don't worry, you don't have to start with complex ideas or long sentences. Begin with simple thoughts about your daily activities. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you can think, I need to get out of bed. When you're having breakfast, you can think, this coffee tastes good, or I'm getting ready for my day. These small thoughts may seem simple, but they help build the habit of using English inside your mind.
And the more you practice this habit, the less you'll depend on translation. Your brain will start finding English words and phrases more quickly, which can make conversations feel smoother and more natural.
Exactly. Remember, fluency begins in the mind before it appears in your speech. Every time you think in English, you're strengthening your brain's English pathways. At first, it may feel strange or challenging, but with daily practice, it becomes easier and more automatic. So, challenge yourself today. Spend a few minutes thinking about your activities, plans, and surroundings in English. It's a simple habit that can make a big difference in your English journey.
Now let's move on to the third step. Train your brain through speaking and repetition. This is where many English learners get stuck. They spend a lot of time reading, listening, and studying vocabulary, but they rarely speak English out loud. As a result, they understand much more English than they can actually use. When a real conversation begins, they know the words in their mind, but they struggle to say them confidently. The truth is that speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it improves through practice.
That's absolutely true, Jason. Your brain learns faster when you actively use what you learn. Reading a word is helpful, but saying that word out loud helps your brain remember it even better. This is why repetition is so important. When you hear a sentence, repeat it. When you learn a new phrase, use it several times throughout the day. The more often you repeat English words and expressions, the stronger they become in your memory. Over time, your brain begins to recognize them instantly without extra effort.
Another great technique is speaking to yourself in English. Some learners feel embarrassed because they don't have a speaking partner, but talking to yourself can be excellent practice. You can describe what you're doing, talk about your plans for the day, or even share your opinions on different topics. The goal is simply to get your brain used to producing English regularly.
Exactly. And remember, don't wait until your English is perfect before you start speaking. Fluency grows through action, not through waiting. Every sentence you speak, every phrase you repeat, and every conversation you practice helps train your brain to use English more naturally. The more you speak and repeat, the more confident, fluent, and comfortable you will become. So make speaking a daily habit, because every word you say is another step toward English success.
Now that we've discussed the 3 steps to rewire your brain for English success, let's talk about some common habits that can slow down your progress. Many learners work hard and genuinely want to improve, but certain habits keep holding them back without them even realizing it. One of the biggest mistakes is waiting for the perfect moment to start speaking. Some people think, I'll speak English when my grammar is perfect, or I'll start conversations when I know more vocabulary. Unfortunately, that perfect moment never comes.
That's so true, Jason. Another habit that prevents success is being afraid of making mistakes. Many learners worry too much about saying something incorrectly, so they stay silent. But mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of learning. Every fluent English speaker has made thousands of mistakes on the way to becoming confident. If you avoid mistakes, you also avoid opportunities to grow and improve.
Another common problem is inconsistency. Some learners study for hours one day and then do nothing for the next several days. The brain learns best through regular practice, even if it's only a few minutes each day. Small daily efforts are much more effective than occasional intense study sessions.
Exactly. And finally, many learners spend all their time studying English, but very little time actually using it. Remember, English is a communication skill, not just a school subject. The more you listen, think, speak, and interact in English, the faster your brain adapts. So avoid these habits, stay consistent, and keep moving forward. Progress may be slow at times, but every step you take brings you closer to English success.
Before we finish today's episode, I want to share an important reminder with everyone listening. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Sometimes you may feel like you're making great progress, and other times you may feel stuck. There will be days when speaking feels easy, and days when you struggle to remember simple words. That's completely normal. Every successful English speaker has experienced challenges, mistakes, and moments of frustration. What made the difference was that they didn't give up when learning became difficult.
That's such an important message, Jason. If you're listening right now and feeling discouraged about your English level, remember this: you are improving more than you think. Every podcast you listen to, every sentence you read, every new word you learn, and every time you try to speak English, you are training your brain and moving forward. Success doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from showing up consistently and practicing a little bit every day.
Exactly. Don't compare your progress to someone else's. Focus on becoming better than you were yesterday. Even a small improvement is still progress, and those small improvements add up over time.
So believe in yourself and trust the process. Your brain is capable of learning English, and every day you practice, you're building stronger English habits and stronger confidence. Stay patient, stay consistent, and keep moving forward. The English speaker you want to become is created by the actions you take today.
As we come to the end of today's episode, let's quickly review the key lessons we've learned about rewiring your brain for English success. First, surround your brain with English every day by listening to podcasts, watching videos, reading simple content, and creating an English-rich environment around you. Second, start thinking in English instead of translating everything from your native language. This helps your brain process English more naturally and improves your speaking speed. Third, train your brain through speaking and repetition, because the more you use English, the stronger and more automatic your English skills become.
Exactly, Jason. And remember, real progress doesn't come from studying English once in a while. It comes from building small, consistent habits that you practice every day. Even just a few minutes of listening, thinking, reading, or speaking in English can make a significant difference over time. Your brain learns through repetition, and every bit of practice helps strengthen your ability to understand and communicate in English.
So here's our final advice for today. Don't try to change everything at once. Choose one simple habit from this episode and start practicing it today. Then continue building on that habit day by day. Small actions may seem insignificant at first, but they can create remarkable results when repeated consistently.
Believe in your ability to learn, stay patient with yourself, and keep moving forward. Your English success is not determined by talent. It's determined by the daily habits you build and the effort you continue to make. Keep training your brain, and you'll be amazed at how much progress you can achieve over time.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We hope you found these tips helpful and that you feel more motivated to start rewiring your brain for English success. Remember, learning English is a journey, and every small step you take today brings you closer to your goals tomorrow.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends who are also learning English. We'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment below and tell us which tip from today's episode you are going to start using first.
Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and most importantly, never stop learning.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Take care, stay consistent, and keep speaking English every day.
Goodbye, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode of the English Learning Podcast.